Steve Lamson looking just for a consistent performance. He knows what it takes to win a championship here with the 125. So we get set now for Moto number 2.
The problem these guys are going to face this time is water.
Nick Way, number 23, 199, Travis Pastrana, 26, Stefan Roncada. All contenders. A good start by Travis Pastrana, but out in front, 7-11, Talon Volan. The first turn pretty clean as far as bikes getting through it. And look at the water, the splashing. Talon Volan's at the right place now.
This is the time when you really want to get that hole shot, because anybody from second on back is just getting plastered.
Oh!
McCormick.
Is that McCormick? Yes.
That's heading into the second corner, that sharp right, where Davey talked about to us earlier about pileups. Look at him right here. This is McCormick. He's going over the bars, where it looks like a little bit. The rider behind him has nowhere to go. He goes up over the bike. Looks like maybe Skaggs. Does a somersault in the air. And then McCormick gets plowed. That's why he was holding his back. So luckily he's up and walking.
Talon Volan slipping a little bit. And right now we've got a new leader. And it is Travis Pastrana. Pastrana taking advantage, coming from third. Here comes Volan back again. Boy, did he put a spray on Travis.
That was horrible. It looked like he might have had just enough of a lead on Travis to just nail Travis right in the side, maybe wreck his vision a little bit. I think it's a good idea, though, to stay maybe second or third right here, not take any chances out front. Let the guy out front find those deep water holes, splash some of it out so you can save your bike.
Talon Volan now pulling quite a lead here in the early going of the second moto of the 125s. Steve Lamson currently in third behind Pastrana. And we get a little jump out of there.
Very little. That's normally a huge double jump.
There's Lamson going through. And your guess is as good as mine on some of those.
Now this is going to be a tough corner to make. Doesn't have much problem getting through there. I thought that'd be much harder. That's going to be like a hill climb later on, because they won't get any run at the hill.
Volan Pastrana in the same picture, 1 and 2. Davey Coombs now working his way over to Lee McCullum, who's Pastrana's mechanic.
Be a good start for Travis. Yeah, it was a good start, just like the first moto, so hopefully he can keep going and finish this moto.
What exactly happened at the end of that first moto?
He made a pass for the lead on the last lap down there at the bottom of the hill, and had a little bit of a problem, and came around at about 13th.
Was he disappointed, or is he just good old Travis, like, oh, well?
Well, yeah, of course he was disappointed. Probably, I don't know, not as much as me maybe and all, but it was still good, and we'll just try to get some points this time.
Get a hydrofoil like going through that stuff. Anyway, it was not a mechanical. As was pointed out earlier, it was just a freak accident that happened to Pastrana.
Yeah, I've never heard anything like that. And, you know, Travis is getting a weird initiation this first year. He's had just about everything happen so far, and he's got a chance in only his third national to pick up a moto win here. The way he rode the first moto, he's got to look at the lead here in this moto. He might be able to do it. Talon is no slouch in the mud, though.
He's plowing through it pretty well.
Yeah, he's been riding through plenty of mud during all those GP seasons.
So can Travis Pastrana take on the veteran Talon Volan? We'll be right back to find out. Welcome back to a very interesting High Point Raceway track, as Steve Lamson in third is getting a challenge now from Nick Way in our second 125 moto. Way goes to the outside. He pulls off a hairy pass, really, with that speed.
Well, he came into that corner, just slammed on the brakes and hoped he could make the berm. He had all the speed, made the pass on Lamson. He's going for more. And what a weird day. I mean, just a few minutes ago, it was pouring. Now the sun's out.
Really, the sun won't bake it out as much as some wind might dry a track like this out.
There's McCormick, who went down early. This has been a tough day for him. That bike looks like the same thing happened to Matt Walker that first one. You see all that steam coming out. It's probably overheated.
We told you Lammy's a good mudder, but right now he's having his problems. There's number 6 trailing those other two bikes. Roderick Taine, the Frenchman on a KTM, and Paul Curry have moved in front of him now. So he's gone from 3rd to 6th in rapid form. Nick Way, who took an overall 7th position here last year, is doing much better. He's 3rd in this moto. Nick Way, growing up in Michigan, should handle this weather pretty well. We asked him about it earlier.
Well, living in Michigan, I grew up riding in the mud, but last year at Budds Creek, I didn't end up doing so well. You know, I crashed on the first turn and got stuck the first moto, so I didn't do as well as I wanted. So hope today in the mud, I got something to prove to myself, and you know, because I've always been really good in the mud, but you know, I didn't do so well in Budds Creek last year, so hopefully I do good here today.
The luck plays a big part in it. You can like it, you can be experienced at it, but it doesn't mean you're going to finish well when it comes to the muck.
Way looking pretty good right here. I think that's Way. Yeah, it is. Look at him. Look how hard he's got to be on the throttle, working the clutch. He burned a clutch up so much worse in the mud because he used it a lot more. Look at him trying to get a good line. He's going to go wide, try to square it to get up that hill. That's what I talked about, being a hill climb later in the day, because in these 125s, you can't build much momentum right there. The faster you get out of that corner, the faster you can get up the hill. It's going to take him a lot longer now. And as far as getting a start in the mud, really, you know, I've said kind of both ways, so I don't confuse people. You know, I've said you need to get a good start, yes, so you can save your vision and not get covered with mud right away. But we've already seen from the 250 first moto that both Tortelli and Villeman were laying in the first corner and were able to get back up and have a shot at winning the race. So if you're a good enough mud rider and you don't mind just going out there and getting soaked and covered with it, it's not that big of a deal if you don't get a great start.
Lamson's starting to pick it up a little bit. So is Paul Curry, having one of his better rides of the year from Plano Honda. Well, you got to hand it to the fans. This crowd is just as big as would be on a sunny day.
They are hardcore. This Mount Morris crowd. Well, you know, I remember in 1983, this was actually the worst conditions I ever raced in. Was right here. I got lapped by Bob Hanna. I think I was 7th in the moto. He lapped me. And it was lakes going across the track everywhere, and some water got into the slide of my carburetor, and the throttle was sticking every once in a while. I had a horrible day. Didn't enjoy it at all. If I'd have enjoyed it, probably would have done a lot better. It's attitude, really. I think Steve has approached this day a little bit too conservatively. Worried about the points, and you know, not that it's a bad strategy, but he's not doing as well as he'd like.
More tough luck for Stefan Roncada just going down. Roncada, who took a second place here back in '97. It was his first American podium, is not having that much fun.
Now, look at the skill of Roncada. I mean, he's a Supercross champion. He won the opener, and he just looks like an amateur going around that left turn. So difficult to try to keep your balance, find the line you want, get the power down, be in the right gear. Sometimes you run a gear higher because you got a lot more wheel spin. Your clothes get heavy. As a matter of fact, the race I did here, I had a chest protector that just covered the front of me. It got so caked with mud and so heavy, it was just hanging on the gas tank the whole race. That was more of a problem than negotiating the track.
A good shot of Talon Bolin on the off camber. Tries to keep the power up, but still square for the uphill. We asked him about his strategy about riding in the mud here at Mount Morris.
I don't really like it, though. You know, I think it's same for everybody, and it's so much work for the mechanics. Kind of fun for the riders because we get to go around and play around on the bike, but they got to do so much work. And it's just hard for everybody because in mud, you don't realistically, even if you are a good mud rider, there's always that first turn mud, and you don't know if you're going to make it through there. So, I mean, I would prefer dry, but if it's mud, let it be and go out there and try to get some points. And, you know, it could really change up the points today like that. So I know hopefully it just work in my favor. I try to be consistent and strong and just keep on moving forward. If you make a mistake, you just got to keep going.
That strategy's been very evident here, David.
Well, you know, you can actually fall once a lap and still win this race. As long as you don't get too much mud on your grip, you can still turn the throttle and you're going fast enough. And in some cases, we've heard it before, if you don't fall, sometimes you're not going fast enough. It's never been more true than in a mud race like this.
And you never give up. It doesn't look like Travis Pastrana, but it is. And he isn't giving up in second place because you just never know what's going to happen to the rider in front of you.
That's true. These days, bikes are so reliable until you get to conditions like these. You never know what can happen.
Hope you can join us for our next telecast coming to you from Southwick on Sunday, the 25th of June, 1:30 in the afternoon. Moto, the 125s at Mount Morris Raceway. This is the third round of our U.S. Motocross Championship Series. It's Talon Bolin in the lead and Kelly Smith who took the win in the first moto, is currently in 5th place. David, this puts him in great stead for an overall.
He's got a chance. You can't start counting your chickens, though, in a race like this. I mean, like you said, before we went to break, anything can happen. Kelly knows that. He knows he's got to take good care of the bike. Can't go into any real deep ruts. You can throw a chain, get into a water puddle, a radiator can get clogged up, your bike can overheat, a lot of things. You got to not only try to go fast, but pick the best lines to take good care of the bike.
Our Davey Coombs is in the pits. He gets the inside stuff now from Kelly's mechanic. Can number 41 hold on?
Right now, the way we figured it out, you're sitting pretty for the overall with a 1-5, but 2 bad starts almost cost you the race.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know that about the overall. Still a long way to go, so I'm not counting anything out.
How's the bike sound?
Bike's great. KTM's working awesome. They work really good in the water, so.
How was Kelly between motos?
Just as he always is, relaxed, funny, joking, just ready to go out.
While we're with Davey and looking at number 41, Kelly Smith, number 199 has taken the lead, Travis Pastrana. You know, as hard as it looks out on the track, it's probably equally as difficult being a cameraman at this event.
Well, and for the cameras to stay working through these conditions, I mean, these are the best bikes in the world. And our cameras are suffering some of these problems too. We've missed a couple of things today. We apologize for that. Ernesto Fonseca not having a good day.
Next year he's going to practice in the rainforest in his native Costa Rica for this one.
Good luck picking that bike up. Plus it looks like he's hurt a little bit. He's had a tough season. You know, last year came so easy for him. Travis getting all out of shape, trying to work his way through left riders. But back on Fonseca, I mean, I think last year already everything kind of came too easy for him. He rode well and he deserved what he got, you know, as far as all those wins in the championship, but it came pretty easy for him. And this year it really seems like he's having to pay some dues.
Nick Way just coming into the picture there. He's in 2nd place behind Travis Pastrana. Getting dangerously close. We could have a battle for the lead here soon. Right now it's time for our Suzuki flashback. From 1970 to 1979. There was not a rider who dominated motocross like Suzuki's Roger DeCoster.
As a rider, well, I won 5 world championships with them and 4 Trans-AMA championship and several Motocross the Nations and Belgium championships and so on. So most of my winning I did with Suzuki as a rider.
DeCoster has enjoyed so much success over his brilliant career, but the Belgian is most proud not of his titles or wins, but his efforts to help the sport he loves grow in popularity.
Other countries, I went to a lot of races, kind of more as trying to push the sport, you know, making it more international and all that. I did things in Australia, in South America, you know, pretty much all over the world to try to promote it.
And thanks to his efforts back in the 1970s, there's no question motocross has grown around the world. And evidence of the popularity can be seen in the pits every race weekend.
Well, it's a lot different, you know. In 1970, there was not, there were no semis in the pit, you know. There was, we drove to most of the races. They pretty much took care of anything concerning the bike, but all the traveling and all the other stuff, you know, the riders did themselves, whether it was me or anybody else.
And for that, today's racers should stop by the Suzuki team manager's pit and thank one of the pioneers of the sport for his contributions. There's Kelly Smith, number 41, currently in 4th place. It's a good justification for the added support that KTM has given Kelly Smith and many of the other riders with a tremendous team effort this year.
It looks like he's having fun. He's just sliding the bike around, picking the lines he wants. No goggles. It's got to be hard to see right now. He's got to go around all. Look at that line. There's 2 guys back there just waiting. Get out of the way. He was able to see that early and not lose too much time.
Oh!
That was Lamson. Good thing he had that handguard on there. Could have messed up his throttle or front brake lever when they made contact.
Here's Kelly Smith again. He joined Shane King earlier in the Supercross season as for the first time 2 4-strokes making it into the same main event. But history's being made every time these guys go on the track, it seems like. Davey.
Well, as expected, this has become just one giant survival test. The cool thing is the guy that appears to be ready to win the overall is Kelly Smith from Michigan. That's going to be a little piece of history because a KTM has never won a national overall. In fact, before the first moto, they never won a moto either. So Kelly Smith's about to make history. As far as the championship goes, the bikes of both Pastrana and Lamson are sputtering severely, and Roncada is just having a lousy time keeping his Yamaha up. He might be out of the points. For Lamson and Pastrana, it's just about survival. Bolin looks good at second.
And looking very good in first is Travis Pastrana as he passes the lapper Billy Payne of Pro Circuit Kawasaki.
You could hear that bike sputtering a little bit too as he came around that sweeper. Travis has to know that he may just end this moto the same way into the first one with a freak thing. Bikes these days, like I said, they're so dependable. You just pick them up off the showroom floor, put on the handlebars you like. In some cases, you just adjust them the way you like and go. But for a day like this, you got to make so many little changes to it to keep water from getting in. The ignition can become a problem. Brakes, overheating. It's a mechanic's nightmare.
Well, the ruts are really getting big. What's it going to do to the 250s in their final moto of the afternoon after these guys get done with it? Travis Pastrana continues to lead the 125 second moto from Mount Morris. We've got lots more motocross action nationwide hoping to come your way. Check us out. It is terrific to watch these live. Southwick, Massachusetts. Then we go to the Midwest. We go out west to an extremely beautiful track, Washougal, Washington, before going upstate New York and ending things out at Belmont, Pennsylvania. Time running out here for the second moto of the 125s, and Travis Pastrana is on the verge of winning his very first 125 outdoor moto. It is the final lap now for Travis Pastrana.
He's just waving at the people, looking out into the crowd. You can hear them. They're so stoked when they see the leader come by and wave at them. They've been standing out there toughing it out this whole day too.
It's got to be a great feeling for Travis Pastrana on the verge of his very first moto victory. A psychological advantage, if nothing else. Let's see what his mechanic's thinking about right about now.
After all this glitzy Supercross wins and all the fun you guys had in stadiums, it's kind of ironic that it looks like Travis's first outdoor win will be in a mess like this.
Yeah, I know it's a big difference between this and Supercross, but he just loves it. He's having fun, and, you know, he comes in, he says, man, the mud's great. I love it here. High Point's great. He just loves it. That's all.
Well, he's 16. You know, about 10 more years, if he's still saying all that, I'll be impressed. I know he'll still have a good time out there, but I think it's really important, Art, that more than this moto win early in his pro career, but the fact that he's done it in these conditions, he's establishing himself as a mud rider. And that's important, you know. I mean, when you go and get ready for a Supercross, all the riders are thinking and worrying about Jeremy McGrath. The next time it rains, they'll be worried about Travis Pastrana.
On his final lap, whoa, trying a trick in the mud. He knows how to give Roger DeCoster a heart attack. Takes those rollers fairly simply. And now the finish line jump with a checkered flag, and he does a heel clicker. Oh, my goodness. Travis Pastrana winning his very first moto in his first pro season. And Kelly Smith will nail down the first ever overall for himself as well as his team, KTM. There's a happy Roger DeCoster. Roger looking at Travis's dad, kind of shaking his head. Smile comes back on Travis Pastrana's face. As we take a look now at the final results, Pastrana away, Volan 1 through 3, Kelly Smith. That fourth will give him the overall. Lammy came back for fifth.